Hey, welcome. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do two things. The first construction that we're going to learn is to copy an angle, and then we're going to use that construction to create some parallel lines. All right, so I've got my compass and straight edge handy. If you don't, go ahead, pause the video right now and go dig those out because you're going to need those for the video that we're going to do. If at any time you're lost, you're stuck, I put in your notes page this Math Open reference website that you can go to, and this will actually walk you through the construction step by step. So it might be kind of helpful because you can set it so that it will only go on to the next step of the construction as you command it to. You can always pause me during the video too, which might be helpful. All right, so step one, when you're copying an angle, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a ray or a line segment where I'm actually going to do my copying. And I'm going to put at the end of that ray, I'm going to put its endpoint, which is going to be my vertex and correspond to A in the original angle. I'm going to start then by taking my compass and I'm going to open it up to any convenient compass setting. The setting isn't important, but notice that the center of my arc or the point of my compass goes on point A. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a big arc that intersects both sides of the angle that I'm trying to copy. And then keeping in mind that I'm trying to make a copy, I'm going to go ahead and move the point of my compass, so the center of my arc, to the vertex of my new angle. And I'm going to create or construct an arc that's similar in size and orientation to the red arc in the original angle. And then remembering that my compass is my measuring instrument, I'm going to go back to my first angle with my compass. And I want to measure how wide that angle actually opens up. So I want to measure the opening between the two places or the 2 points where that arc intersects the sides of my circle. So you might have to do a little finagling, kind of like I just did. But notice that the point of my compass is on the point where my arc intersects the side of my angle. And if I think about that scenario in my new angle, I only have one point of intersection so far, and that's where I want to put the point of my compass when I come over here to copy my angle. So I put the point of my compass, or the center of my new arc, is going to go on the point of that intersection between the arc and the side of the angle. And once I do that, now I can go ahead and arc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straight edge now and I'm going to connect using my straight edge that point of intersection between, in my case, my red arc and my purple arc. Your arcs are going to be both in pencil, obviously, and the vertex of my angle. And I've now created a perfect replica of that original angle. Now we did this with an acute angle, but you could also do it with an obtuse angle. The steps are exactly the same, so don't get all twisted up and think, oh, I can only do that when the angle is an acute angle. We can do that for an obtuse angle as well. So again, I'm going to think to myself, I want to start with one of the sides of my angle. I've got that vertex. And remember that I'm going to begin by going ahead and putting the point of my compass on the vertex of the given angle. Any convenient radius length, doesn't matter. But notice that in order to intersect both sides of my angle for the obtuse angle, that arc has to be a nice big arc. So when I go to create a similar arc over here, or copy a similar arc over here in my new angle, I have to keep in mind that that arc is going to have to be pretty substantial. My next step, remember, is to measure the distance between the 2 points of intersection. So again, if I think about my compass as my measuring tool or my measuring instrument, what I'm really doing here is I'm measuring the width or how wide this angle opens up. And again, you can see that I have to do some finagling with my compass in order to make this happen. Let me go ahead and be as exact as I can possibly be with this compass. And then again, I only have at this point one point of intersection over here on my new angle. that's where the center of my new arc is going to come. Do a little crisscross, and this isn't a great, terrific crisscross because those arcs are so close together. But I can see a point where they intersect, and that point again is going to connect to the vertex of my angle. And at this point, I've successfully copied my angle. So that's the first construction for today. Now, if you're saying to yourself, I need some more practice with this, that's okay, because you're going to get some more practice with this as we actually use this copy and angle construction in order to create parallel lines. So that's our next construction for this video, is to construct a line parallel to the given line through the given point. And I put a little note in here that the construction I'm going to show in my video is slightly different. Every year I go back and forth as to which of these constructions is the better one to do. I'm going to actually do the exact same construction that's shown in that website or on that website, because I think if you have trouble with it or struggle with it, it'll give you a resource that you can go back to and you can use. So again, I'm going back the other way this year, and I'm going to show you the exact same construction that you'll see on the Math Open reference. So the first thing that I'm going to do in order to create parallel lines is I'm going to construct a transversal. So this transversal is going to have to pass through point R and pass through line PQ. So I'm just going to grab my straight edge. And it's important to note that the transversal you draw just has to go through line PQ and point R. So I'm picking no special angle here. I'm simply using or drawing any convenient transversal that passes through both point R, and through line PQ. I'm going to focus on two things here. I'm going to focus on point R because that's where I want to draw my parallel line. And I'm going to focus on the point where that transversal intersects line PQ. And in essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that angle formed between the transversal and line PQ in such a way that at point R I create a congruent corresponding angle. And because the corresponding angles are congruent, it'll then force my lines to have to be parallel. So let me go and dig out my compass here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy that angle. So I might even go ahead and name this point down here. I don't have an S yet. Just so that I can talk about it, I'm going to name that point S. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the point of my compass at point S. And I'm going to copy that acute angle. So I'm going to start by drawing an arc. I'm going to make it green. And once I've got that arc that intersects both sides of that acute angle, I'm going to go up to point R. And using point R as a center, I'm going to create a similar arc. Now here's the thing that you're going to find very useful, very helpful when you're doing this construction. Always remember to keep the point of your compass on the transversal. That's really, really, really important. So I'm now going to go back to my original angle and I'm going to measure keeping my compass on the transversal, or keeping the point of my compass on the transversal. So I might even pause here and leave myself a note. Keep the point of the compass on the transversal. That's really, really, really big. So when I go to copy this angle, notice where the point of my compass is. It's at the point where the green arc intersects the transversal. So when I go to copy my angle, I want to come up here to where the green arc intersects that transversal. I put the point of my compass on that point of intersection, and using that as a center, I'm going to draw my new arc. And then I'm going to connect that point of intersection between my arcs with my point R using my straight edge. And I can tell you that for me, this almost never ever comes out to be a parallel line. But as long as the construction is done correctly and all of the arcs are placed in the right positions, even if your lines don't look perfectly parallel, you're going to get credit for the construction. Actually, that looks halfway decent, not too terrible. But again, you want to follow that rule. Keep the point of the compass on that transversal. It just makes everything easier. So I want to go down and practice one more of these with you because these can be confusing. This is the same idea. Through point A, construct a line that's going to be parallel to line M. So I'm going to start by constructing my transversal. And again, the angle doesn't matter. It's any convenient angle such that that transversal passes through both point A and line M. I think I'm going to call this point B just so that I can talk about it as I construct. I'm now going to go and put the point of my compass on point B. And I'm going to use any convenient radius setting. It doesn't matter how big or small. I'm just going to draw an arc that intersects both sides of that acute angle. I'm then going to move the point of my compass up to point A and construct or create that same arc. And this is the important piece right here. Keep the point of your compass on the transversal. And I want to use my compass now as a measuring tool to go measure the distance that that angle, that acute angle, opens up. Oh, and I've got something funky going on with the gremlins inside my computer, so hopefully I'll get through this video. I really want to pay attention though and be as exact as I can be. And again, notice the point of my compass started where that red arc intersects the transversal. So when I move up the transversal with the point of my compass, I want to move beyond point A into the spot where that red arc intersects the transversal. That can be tricky for kids sometimes. I don't know why that wrote in red. I wanted that arc to be yellow. And now I've got to take my straight edge, and I want to use my straight edge to connect point A with the point of intersection between my red arc and my yellow arc. There we go. And of course I would take mine and go the other direction with it as well. And we've actually got a line now. It's easier to do with an actual straight edge than it is to do on the smartboard. All right, so as always, thanks for your time and attention in dealing with the video. We'll fill in the key ideas when you come back to class, but you should attempt the question on the next page just to see if you've gotten everything out of the video that you should have gotten out of the video. All right, we'll do more of these together the next time that you come back to class. Thanks for watching, folks.